Before we begin, remember this. What I am about to say will not flatter you. It will not comfort you. It will not tell you that you are enough. Because the truth is, you are not. None of us are. We are unfinished, untested, untempered. And it is not the cruelty of the world that makes us weak. It is our comfort. We are the most comfortable generation in history, and also the most fragile. Never has humanity suffered so little and complained so much. We have climate-controlled rooms, food delivered in minutes, distraction available in seconds. We can dull every sting, mute every silence, avoid every mirror. We call it progress. But the more we cushion ourselves from pain, the smaller we become inside. The more we escape discomfort, the more discomfort we feel. Once, to live was to struggle. The body hardened through labor, the mind sharpened through solitude. Survival was a discipline that carved character into the face of man. Now, survival is guaranteed, and character has disappeared. When life stopped demanding greatness, we stopped offering it. You feel it, don't you? The quiet nausea that hums beneath convenience. The sense that something vital has gone missing, something raw, electric, dangerous. You scroll, you eat, you buy, you rest. But you do not feel alive. You are safe, and that is precisely the problem. Safety was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to be the pause between battles. Advice: stop worshipping ease. Every small act of friction is a hidden opportunity. Walk when you could ride. Read when you could scroll. Face when you could flee. The moment you avoid discomfort, you choose decay. The body that feels nothing begins to die long before the heart stops. Comfort begins as mercy and ends as murder. It enters quietly in the name of rest, recovery, balance, and soon becomes a religion. It tells you that peace is the absence of effort, that happiness is the absence of tension. It whispers that greatness is outdated, that striving is toxic. But peace without effort is stagnation, and happiness without tension is sedation. We have become spiritual invalids wrapped in silk. We fear hunger more than meaninglessness, fatigue more than cowardice, risk more than regret. The very conditions that once forged our ancestors' strength we now call stress. Yet it was stress, that holy friction, that built their muscles, their resolve, their genius. You can see it everywhere. Mediocrity celebrated as wellness, laziness renamed as self-care, comfort rebranded as balance. We no longer pursue mastery, we pursue moderation. We no longer seek to climb, we seek to cope. And when the soul can no longer climb, it begins to shrink. Advice: seek voluntary discomfort. Create storms before the world sends them. Wake before the alarm. Work when you do not feel inspired. Speak truth when your voice trembles. These small rebellions remind the spirit that it still exists. The body grows through resistance, the mind through contradiction, the soul through struggle. Without them, you are only existing, not evolving. Every technological advance is a trade. We gain convenience, we lose resilience. The hand that no longer chops wood no longer knows the dignity of necessity. The heart that never faces rejection never learns compassion. The mind that never endures boredom never births insight. We think progress has freed us. In truth, it has domesticated us. Look around. Comfort has made people anxious. Abundance has made them hollow. The more we have, the less we are. Because comfort does not fulfill the will, it inflames it. Once a man's hunger was for bread. Now it is for purpose, attention, novelty. His body is full, but his spirit starves. Advice: when life feels dull, do not seek new pleasure. Seek new struggle. Pleasure ends where resistance begins. Struggle is the mother of significance. When you sweat for something, when you bleed for it, when you break and rebuild, that is when meaning enters the bloodstream. Comfort is the slowest poison ever created. It kills not through violence, but through sweetness. It feeds you just enough pleasure to silence revolt, just enough entertainment to keep you numb, just enough ease to keep you enslaved. The cage is padded now, and therefore invisible. The man of comfort speaks of peace, but inside he is restless. He has confused sedation for serenity. He thinks happiness is calm, but true happiness is aliveness, and aliveness requires tension. You cannot feel the pulse of existence from within a cushioned room. Our ancestors endured winters, wars, and hunger, and they left behind cathedrals, philosophies, civilizations. We endure traffic, inconvenience, minor offense, and we write apologies for ambition. What they called duty, we call burnout. What they called courage, we call extremism. We have mistaken the softening of will for evolution. Advice: reintroduce hardship as ritual. Fast occasionally, not to punish the body, but to remind it that it serves something higher. Spend time alone until silence stops feeling hostile. Train not for appearance, but for discipline. Challenge is the only honest therapy for the human soul. Comfort convinces you that tomorrow is infinite. It dulls the urgency that gives life meaning. It teaches delay as virtue: rest now, dream later, create when convenient. But creation never feels convenient. Greatness is not born from inspiration. It is born from irritation, from the friction between the world as it is and the soul as it could be. Every life has two choices: the slow death of ease or the violent birth of transformation. Comfort will always offer you the first, quietly, politely, endlessly. But the moment you choose discomfort voluntarily, you reclaim your humanity. You feel the blood of your ancestors stir again. You remember that pain was never the enemy, it was the tutor. And that, my friend, is the first step back toward greatness. To refuse the anesthesia of the age. To choose to feel again. To let the muscle ache, the heart break, the mind tire, and to thank each for reminding you that you are still becoming. Because the truth is simple. A comfortable life may be pleasant, but only a difficult one can be noble. Before we continue, I'll give you one simple directive. Do not mistake rest for renewal. You do not grow stronger by retreating into softness. Recovery is earned through exertion, not escape. You cannot rest from a life you have not yet lived. Now listen carefully. The death of struggle is the death of meaning. Every purpose you have ever respected, every story that stirred your blood, every figure who inspired awe existed because of struggle. Meaning is born of resistance. Remove resistance, and existence becomes an endless loop of trivial pleasure. The modern world calls this loop wellness. I call it spiritual suicide. The tragedy of our time is not cruelty, but comfort. The tragedy is that we have eliminated so much friction that we have forgotten how to move against it. We dream of triumph, yet fear the training. We speak of change, yet reject the pain of transformation. We want wisdom without solitude, wealth without discipline, love without sacrifice. We want to inherit greatness pre-assembled, in soft packaging, with clear instructions and a refund policy. But greatness does not survive domestication. It cannot grow in artificial light. It needs hunger, solitude. Risk the dark soil of suffering that makes roots dig deep. Remove the soil and the plant looks perfect for a while, until the first real wind comes. Then it folds. And so do we. Every time we remove discomfort, we remove meaning. Every time we remove struggle, we remove identity. The human soul was forged to overcome, not to maintain. When there is nothing left to fight, it begins to decay inwardly. The muscles of will collapse from disuse. We become spectators in our own lives, applauding comfort, mistaking sedation for peace. Advice: if you feel lost, do not chase pleasure, chase resistance. The direction of your discomfort often points towards your growth. The more a path terrifies you, the more likely it holds the transformation you seek. Do one thing each day that challenges the comfort you worship. When you meet pain, do not flinch, nod. That nod is the beginning of self-respect. We are surrounded by an empire of convenience that promises to simplify everything: our work, our love, even our thoughts. We can buy meaning in installments, rent validation by the click. The world has become frictionless and therefore hollow, because meaning hides inside friction. Take away the struggle and you flatten the soul. Comfort breeds fragility. The fragile man does not know he is fragile until the world touches him roughly. Then he shatters. The strong man, however, seeks friction daily. He welcomes resistance as proof that he is still solid. Without resistance, identity dissolves. The man who never starves never learns gratitude. The one who never fails never learns humility. The one who never suffers never learns compassion. Our comforts have robbed us of these virtues, leaving us sentimental but spineless. We are kind but not courageous, busy but not purposeful, connected but not intimate. The modern soul is wired to everything except its own center. Advice: stop fearing difficulty. Fear comfort that dulls you. Fear luxury that blinds you. Fear the gentle poison that whispers, "You've done enough." You have not. As long as there is breath, there is unfinished work. To rest before you are empty is to betray what you could have been. Comfort has made us sentimental about mediocrity. We celebrate smallness as humility, but it is often disguised cowardice. We lower the bar so no one feels pain reaching for it. We hand out praise like morphine to numb the absence of progress. And then we wonder why our souls feel numb. The spirit is not nourished by ease. It is nourished by conquest, not conquest of others, but conquest of self. Each time you refuse an easy out, each time you choose truth over convenience, effort over excuse, you grow invisible roots. Those roots will hold you when the world tilts again, as it always does. But this you must understand. Comfort will always fight back. It will whisper logic to you. You've earned this. It will disguise laziness as self-care, fear as balance, mediocrity as contentment. It will use the language of virtue to defend your weakness. Do not negotiate with it. It is the enemy that kills without violence. Advice: create hardship intentionally. If life does not test you, test yourself. Fast from your distractions. Walk without your headphones. Speak truth where silence is safer. Train your will the way warriors train muscle through deliberate difficulty. Greatness does not arrive through inspiration. It arrives through self-imposed trials. The quiet rebellion of this century will not be against governments or gods, but against comfort. The world will not chain you. It will cradle you until you forget your strength. To resist that cradle is the new form of heroism. To wake each morning and ask, where can I struggle honestly today? That is the prayer of the awakened. Ease is slow decay. Hardship embraced consciously is rebirth. Every discomfort you accept willingly purifies the will, just as every comfort accepted blindly weakens it. To suffer voluntarily is to reclaim ownership of your pain. When you choose your burden, it stops being a cage and becomes a ladder. Look back at history. Every civilization began in hunger and died in luxury. The same pattern repeats in the soul. Your own rise and fall will follow it unless you intervene. Do not let your comfort reach the level where you stop craving more life. When nothing challenges you, you will start mistaking entertainment for experience, and that is the beginning of your end. Advice: revive rituals of effort. Treat small struggles as sacred practice. Cook your own food. Endure silence. Finish what is difficult before you rest. Work until your body aches enough to remind you that it exists. These are the small altars where greatness still burns quietly. Comfort does not only weaken bodies, it dissolves wonder. The man who no longer suffers forgets awe. He no longer feels the vastness of the night sky, the trembling mystery of existence. Without struggle, even beauty loses its impact. Only the one who has fought through darkness can feel the full voltage of light. Do not envy the comfortable, pity them. They are the walking dead, embalmed in pleasure, incapable of awe. They live surrounded by abundance and still feel empty, because abundance without struggle is tasteless. Pain gives flavor to experience. It makes the ordinary sacred. Advice: when life feels unbearable, remind yourself this pressure is proof of potential. Growth and agony are twin forces. The seed breaks before it blooms. The muscle tears before it strengthens. The heart cracks before it learns compassion. The pain you avoid today will reappear tomorrow as emptiness. Better to endure it now and be forged by it than escape it and remain unshaped. Every era has its disease. Ours is comfort. We have mistaken sedation for serenity and ease for evolution. The cure is voluntary difficulty, the conscious embrace of friction. Greatness, creativity, purpose, these do not survive in padded rooms. They are born in solitude, pressure, resistance, risk. The quiet rebellion begins the moment you say, enough. Enough of numbing, enough of waiting, enough of soft compromises. The moment you stop asking for comfort, the world becomes your teacher again. Every obstacle becomes an invitation, every failure a refinement. That is the wisdom the soft cannot grasp. The obstacle is the oxygen of the soul. So do not run from difficulty. Walk into it calmly, eyes open. Let it strip you of weakness. Let it show you what still trembles inside. That trembling is where greatness is born. And when you emerge, bruised, exhausted, but alive, you will see the truth. Comfort was never your friend. It was the silent killer of everything magnificent in you. But pain, challenge, they were never your enemies. They were the sculptors, shaping you into something worthy of being remembered. Before we go deeper, take this counsel. Stop asking for the easy path. Every smooth road ends in mediocrity. Ask instead for a road steep enough to make you remember your legs. The only way to find your strength is to spend it. You have learned by now that comfort does not love you. It flatters you, feeds you, and slowly drains the color from your spirit. But pain still tells you the truth. Pain says, you are alive, you can change, you still matter. There is a tragic beauty hidden in that sentence. Tragic because you must suffer to hear it. Beautiful because once you do, you will never again mistake numbness for peace. Every great thing you admire was born in discomfort. The artist paints with doubt gnawing at his bones. The thinker writes because confusion will not let him sleep. The warrior trains in darkness long before the world applauds. No one becomes luminous by sitting comfortably in the light. They become luminous by surviving the dark and learning to carry a fragment of it as fire. Advice: thank hardship, not out of masochism, but out of recognition. Say to it, you are the forge. Without you, I would still be ore. The sooner you stop resenting friction, the sooner you can use it. Heat is not cruelty, it is transformation. Look closely at your heroes. Every single one is a monument to discomfort. They failed more than you dared to begin. They were humiliated, misunderstood, exhausted, and still they worked. What made them great was not talent. It was tolerance, the ability to endure the weight that breaks ordinary men. Ease never sculpted a soul worth remembering. The golden ages of history were not golden because life was soft, but because life was hard and people refused to surrender to it. And so you must reclaim hardship consciously. The world no longer forces struggle upon you. You must summon it yourself. Choose disciplines that sharpen you: honesty, solitude, exertion, restraint. These are the modern forms of heroism. Fasting from distraction is today's battle. Telling the truth is today's sword. Advice: create small rituals of difficulty. Do something each day that costs you comfort. Let hunger visit. Let silence surround you. Let fatigue have its lesson. These are not punishments, they are training sessions for the spirit. You will begin to notice something strange. The more you welcome challenge, the calmer you become. Anxiety comes from avoidance, not from action. When you face what frightens you, the mind steadies, the pulse finds rhythm, the body remembers its purpose. Struggle, willingly embraced, turns chaos into choreography. There is a joy in exhaustion that the comfortable will never know. It is the joy of having used yourself completely. To end the day empty is to sleep deeply. The comfortable end each day half awake, their unused energy fermenting into restlessness. They call it boredom. It is simply life-demanding expression. Advice: when everything in you screams for rest, give it one more honest hour. That hour will separate you from the crowd. Excellence begins exactly where comfort ends. The threshold of fatigue is the birthplace of mastery. Comfort has 1,000 allies: fear, pride, laziness, the illusion of tomorrow. But you have one ally greater than them all: the will. It does not shout, it whispers. It says, again, and if you listen to it long enough, that whisper becomes destiny. You will fail, of course. You will fall back into ease, make excuses, seek warmth. That is human. What matters is not purity, but return. Each time you rise from comfort's embrace, you grow harder to seduce. Eventually, you will crave struggle the way others crave sleep, because you will have learned that discomfort is the only state in which you feel fully real. Advice: measure your life not by how often you rest, but by how often you rise. Rest is earned. Rising is chosen. Every morning, choose again. Understand this: suffering, when chosen with awareness, becomes sacred. It no longer humiliates, it hallows. It burns away the false layers until what remains is simple and strong. That simplicity is freedom to want less, to need less, to be less fragile before the world's indifference. The comfortable call this detachment. The wise call it clarity. When you strip away comfort, you uncover wonder. The wind becomes sharp again. Food regains flavor. Friendship regains depth. Gratitude ceases to be performance and becomes breath. You start to feel awe at ordinary things because you finally paid for them with effort. Only the one who has climbed the mountain can love the air at the summit. Advice: learn to love effort for its own sake. Do not chase reward. The moment you act only for pleasure, comfort is already winning. The act itself, the discipline, the striving, the honest work is the reward. When that truth sinks in, you become untouchable. Greatness, then, is not mysterious. It is the consistent refusal to be comfortable. Every day, a small death of ease. Every day, a small resurrection of will. The world does not owe you recognition. It owes you challenge. If you meet that challenge fully, you will carry a quiet power that needs no witness. Advice: each morning, ask one question, not "What will make me happy?" but "What will make me strong?" Happiness comes and goes. Strength endures. And strength, once possessed, makes even pain meaningful. Now we come to the end and the beginning. Comfort will continue to whisper to you, "Rest. Stay. You've done enough." Smile at it, but do not obey. You will rest one day when there is no more becoming left in you. Until then, let life find you working, moving, growing, burning. Because comfort is death by softness, but struggle is life by fire. You are meant to burn brightly, briefly, beautifully, until the dark itself respects your light. That is greatness. Not perfection, not ease, but the decision to stay aflame in a world that worships sleep. So rise, even when you're tired. Create, even when it hurts. Love, even when loss is certain. Sweat, fail, endure. And when you meet the night utterly spent, whisper to yourself, not with pride, but with peace: I did not choose comfort. I chose to be alive.